Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Ecos First Continent. So Ecos First Continent is a game that came out last year, 2019, from AEG. The game came out near the end in its last couple of seasons of conventions. I haven't heard a whole bunch about this one. I really like it personally, but I haven't heard a whole bunch about it. I don't know why, because it's got some really wonderful stuff going on. The essence of the game is that you have a body of land and sea or water, and you're putting animals or mountains and trees onto that body of land and water and enabling them to be moved around. The way that things all happen is through a whole bunch of cards that are in front of you. So you'll play a card down and that'll sit there, and every turn a little thing is pulled out of a bag that has a picture on it. That picture or icon will probably line up with something on your cards, and so you put a little cube over that icon, and when a card is full up, then that card actions. And what those cards do is move things around, and will gain you points for this happening, or will gain you a whole bunch of points for if this is next to a whole bunch of other things. There's a lot of thinking going on, and I think that's the deal with this game. It's a really thinky game. On the outset, it looks relatively easy. It's relatively straightforward to play. You're going to do this, you're going to cover the things, and you're going to gain the stuff. But then when you actually start thinking about it, you end up kind of looking at going, okay, I've got a hand of cards. This card here needs this card to work before I really do that one. So let's get them down on the table and build up and get that thing happening. The other deal with this one, I find it quite quirky, but I really like it, is the end game. The end game on most games tends to be when you hit a certain point marker or something like that, and that's okay. But this one is when one of the players gets across that point marker, that will indicate that we're in the last round. A round could be any length because it's judged by the pulling of a certain tile out of the bag. And so on my first game, one player got across that line really quickly and really easily, but the game kept going, and so the other player was able to actually scream past them and win by about 40 points, simply because of the length of the game, the types of cards that were down, and the player that was at the back had managed to get a whole bunch of cards that gave huge points whenever they activated. And that's the other thing to remember with this game as well, is they've got some little leaves as indicators. So a lot of them will have 4 leaves on the top side of the card. And so when it activates, you turn that card clockwise, and that will suddenly show 3 leaves and 2 and 1. Some of them only have the 1 leaf at the top, which means they're going to get discarded straight away. Some will have 2, which means you will activate it and turn it, and then you only have 1 leaf, so you activate it again and then discard the card. There's a lot going on with this. There's a lot of crunchiness that lives around this game, and I think it's really wonderful. As with other games, I found that the time that the producers expect or say, hey, this game will take this long, nowhere near it. I find that this game plays with 2 to 6 players, but playing a 2-player game goes a heck of a lot faster. The reason that is the case is it shouldn't. Everything happens at the same time. So one tile is pulled out, everyone will do their marking at the same time, and then the next one, the next one. The reason the 6-player game goes so much longer than a 2-player game is simply because of okay, has everyone done their marking? Okay, cool. And then when you start actioning cards, they action in order. So what one person does will affect potentially the terrain, and so the next person may or may not wish to activate their cards, and so they can then rethink what they're doing. But doing that suddenly can take a lot of time when people are thinking, oh, if I do it here, they'll give me that many points. If I do it here, they'll give me that many points. This whole forward-back thing of having to actually wait and see what the structure of the map is before you actually do it slows the game down dramatically. So just be aware of that. So while majority of the game is all at the same time, so it's not a problem, it doesn't matter how many players you have, As soon as you get into that turn-by-turn thing, suddenly that will slow things down. The other thing that I really appreciate with this game that I haven't seen on other games, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I personally haven't come across it, is the way the box deals with all of the markers. It looks like this. So what happens is I can hold my markers upside down, they're not going to fall out. There's a top on it. To play the game, slide that off, suddenly all the markers are available, put them back away, they're in their right spots, slide that back on, they're not going to fall out again. I think that's a really beautiful way to do a game, to do the pieces in a game. And I think that more people should be doing things like that, because that's just awesome. It means that you don't have to deal with little bags of small versions of things, or one big bag, but then you gotta go searching through to find the right shit when you need a particular version. The box itself has the names of what the icon is actually talking about, and so you don't have to recognize that this is an antelope. You can go, oh, antelope, I'll go and get one of them. Obviously, as you're playing the game, when they're out on the board, you need to recognize what's there, but you've got the reference there in the boxes. It's so good. I really think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to add to any gaming experience. Look, I'll leave it there. Go ahead and watch my Gamesplained Gamesplanation and get a feel for how the game plays, what the rules are, and see if you would like it. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.